everyone, and welcome back to Classic Gamer 74. I'm your host, Anthony Gamer. Today we're going to be discussing rare and valuable games for the Intellivision. Like any other game system, Intellivision has its fair share of rare and valuable games. Not as many as some, but a pretty good amount. Now you'll notice that some of the games that are high on this list were late releases, as Mattel stopped manufacturing Intellivision games in the early 80s. And then Intellivision Corporation, later on, would release some of its own games, and it would release some prototypes that were not released during the initial run of the Intellivision. Another interesting fact is that some of the games that are going to be featured today are homebrews. Now, sometimes homebrews can be readily available. You can download the ROMs and even sometimes purchase them from places like AtariAge.com and then other sites. However, you have to remember that homebrews are made by individual people. They put the work into the game. They are selling the game themselves, and therefore they're not going to have probably the capital to have hundreds and thousands of copies of the game. Sometimes they have very limited quantities of the game, and when they're out, they're out. And other times they don't dump the game, and in a way I don't blame them, because they put all that work into the game, and sometimes they had to purchase the rights to make it, and it's up to them whether they want to make the game ROM available to the general public or not. Before we start, I have a quick disclaimer. Now remember, these games are based on research, and these are current market prices as of this week. So therefore, the prices may be higher or a little bit lower. If you find some of these games lower, grab them right away, because it seems that the prices are only going to go up. Also keep in mind that the prices that I'm quoting are just for a loose cart, and we're going to start with games that are valued at $50 loose and going up. So without further delay, let's get started.
And our first game for today is Jetsons Way with Words from 1983. This was an edutainment game that used the ill-fated computer keyboard add-on. You would create some words, and then you would use George Jetson in his flying car to make those words again, of course, in the right order. Seeing as this game was a keyboard game, it's not surprising that it's a little valuable. Just to find the loose cart, it'll run you around $50. Next up, we have a game that was actually an unreleased prototype in 1983, but was later finished in 1998 and released as a homebrew. That is King of the Mountain. In this challenging game, you get some supplies and you try to climb up the mountain. Believe me, it's much more difficult than it sounds. To find this game in just cart form, it'll cost you around $50. And next up, we have Steamroller. This game has a very interesting story to it. What you're looking at is the original version for the ColecoVision, but interestingly enough, this game was never released. Yep, so this is a game based on a prototype. In this game, you take on the role of a steamroller, and you're supposed to roll over the bad guys and not run into the other guy and his steamroller, and avoid bombs and other fun stuff like that. Really cool game. Unfortunately, I was not able to get any screenshots of the Intellivision version. Now, if you'd like to get a copy of this game, it will run you around $58. Next up, we have Melody Maker from 1983. This was to be used with the add-on keyboard and the music synthesizer, which in itself is quite valuable. This game itself is kind of rare, and it will usually run around $60. And next we have another homebrew game. This game was several years in the making, and it is Space Patrol. As you can tell, it is definitely a port of sorts for the awesome arcade game Moon Patrol. And just like Moon Patrol, you go around on the surface of the moon, jump over holes, and shoot aliens. Unlike other versions of Moon Patrol that are pretty much readily available, this one's a little rare and a little valuable. Just a loose card alone will run you around $60. And this next game has another interesting story to it. This is Hover Bubber. This was originally released in the early 80s with a Commodore 64 computer. It was a big hit in Europe, but not so much in the United States. In this game, you steal your neighbor's lawnmower and try to mow as many lawns as you can without getting caught. If you run over the flowers, they will take the mower away from you, and your dog is going to try to help protect you. I'm not sure why somebody would want to steal a mower and mow other people's lawns, but whatever. Anyway, you're looking at the Commodore 64 version, as I was unable to get the ROM for this game. If you are looking to add this game to your collection, be ready to spend around $60. Next up, we have an arcade port, and that is of Super Cobra. This game was released in 1983 by Parker Brothers and was released for several other game systems. However, the Intellivision version seems to be the most valuable. Probably has a lot to do with the fact that Parker Brothers was getting out of making games in 1983. So if you are looking for this game, it will run you around $65. Our next game is another late release, and this is Triple Challenge from 1988. In this game, you have a choice of 3 games to play: chess, checkers, or backgammon. 3 games for the price of 1. Well, not so much anymore. To get this game, you're going to have to fork out around $70. Here we go with another edutainment game. Originally, when this game was released in 1983, it was called The Electric Company Presents Math Fun. However, it was re-released in 1987, simply calling it Learning Fun 1. This is a math edutainment game that has a variety of different sub-games for you to play. Now, getting the original Electric Company version is pretty easy. They go for just a few bucks here and there. However, if you are looking to add this reissue to your collection, be ready to spend around $80. And next up, we have the unofficial sequel to Burger Time, and this is Diner from 1987. In this game, Pepper Pete is back, and this time he's trying to make spaghetti and meatballs. So you're trying to kick the meatballs down into the plate. However, that evil food is trying to stop you. So, armed with pepper, your only chance is to hit him with the pepper and then just get the meatballs down to the plate. Although Burger Time was readily available for almost all game systems and computer systems and is reasonable, this game is a little on the rare and valuable side. A cart alone will run you around $80. Here we have an arcade classic, Congo Bongo from 1983. In this game, you take on the role of this explorer who's trying to get back at this dumb ape that gave you the hot foot. There's 3 distinct levels and hours of fun had by all. Probably one of my all-time favorite arcade games. This game was ported out to just about every computer and game system imaginable. However, the Intellivision version is the rarest and most valuable. A cart alone will run you around $80. Next up, we have a homebrew that is definitely in my top list, and this is D2K from 2012, programmed by Carl Mueller Jr. It is a sequel to, you know what game it's a sequel to. Really a lot of fun, a lot of work went into this game, and I have to say a great big thumbs up to Carl for this amazing homebrew. If you would like to purchase the homebrew on a cart, it will run you right around $100. However, you can also buy the ROM from Carl for $20. So check out his website and get this game for yourselves. You won't regret it. And next up, we have Super Series Big League Baseball. Whew, try saying that 3 times fast. A big name for a big and great game. This was one of those games that made use of the attachable keyboard. In this one, you are playing Major League Baseball, and they have stats and everything for made-up players, of course. while being a great game, it also commands a pretty great price. Just to get this on cart alone will run you around $120. Alright, what you're looking at here is Stadium Mud Buggies. This was a late release from 1989. It's quite similar to RC Pro-Am if you've ever played that for the NES, and even though it took me a little while to get the hang of the controls, the game itself is a whole lot of fun. Like many late releases, it's a little on the rare and valuable side. To find this game in a loose cart will run you around $110. And just like our previous game, we have another late release from 1988, and that is Mountain Madness Super Pro Skiing. Whew, another long title. In this game, you are skiing down the mountain, and you get to choose how difficult the track is. You go between the flags, try not to hit the flags, or heaven forbid the trees. Not totally original, but yet a really fun game. And this game will run you right around $138 in loose cart. And next up we have Super Slam Pro Wrestling, also known as Body Slam Pro Wrestling. This was a late release in 1988. At first I really didn't care for this game, but then I was told that the only way to play it is on a real functioning Intellivision. And they were right, because if you don't, you really set yourself up for disappointment, because this is a great wrestling game. You pick your 4 moves and you just head for it. It reminds me a lot of that WCW game that was released for the NES a few years later. A great game. However, unlike some wrestling games, this one's quite valuable. To get it in cart alone will run you around $130. Now we have another arcade port, and this is Tootin Common from 1983, released by Parker Brothers. To be perfectly honest with you, I really was never a fan of this game. I didn't like the arcade version, I didn't like the 2600 version, but I really like the Intellivision version of this game. However, this version of the game is also the rarest and most valuable, and it will run you around $150 in a loose cart. And next up we have another edutainment game. This is the sequel to Learning Fun 1 called Learning Fun 2. Originally when this game was released, it was called the Electric Company Word Fun. It has 3 different cool games to help children learn about letters and words. When the game was re-released without the Electric Company CCW endorsement, it was a little on the rarer side. Just a loose cart of this alone will run you $180. And it is a large price jump to the most valuable Intellivision game, and that is Spiker Super Pro Volleyball. This was a late release from 1989, and it's pretty much what you think. It's a volleyball game. Really cool graphics for the time. I really enjoyed the game. It way ahead of its time. However, the price itself is way out there as well. Just a loose cart alone of this game will run you around $535. In our next episode, we're going to take a little break from our Intellivision unit for just a bit, and we are going to do an arcade versus port of Choplifter, which is one of the first games in history to be a computer game before it was an arcade game. And as an added bonus, I'm going to show you my latest Atari 2600 hack called Deshwata, and show you how to get a free copy of it yourself, so you won't want to miss that.
That brings this episode to a close. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give me a great big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. Well, until next time, I am Anthony Gamer, and I hope you all have a great week. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, take care of each other and be kind to each other and stop hate of all kinds. See you guys soon. Bye!